Welcome to 8 months that I've been away from making videos. I did one at the start, and that was because we did this cool Khao San experience, which is, if anybody knows, if you come to Thailand, then going to Khao San is one of the meccas of partying, especially for young people. It was really cool. Not that I'm not young, but younger people. So I made that video. It's really sweet. I liked it. But of course, you know, with these try-hard artistic things, not that many people watching them, which is totally fine. You have to first make these things for yourself. But I figured after about 8 months here that now I'm finally in a position I could make videos again, tell you what's going on, let you know the trajectory of my crazy life, because it's officially Weird Uncle now, because I'm like 39, unmarried. I haven't established a career. I've more pursued projects that I'm interested in. And so I think that at least at a base level, is interesting. And I think it's good too, especially as time goes on here, that a lot of people, this is more going to be the course of life, is that it's not going to follow this traditional grow and marry kind of thing. I think increasingly, whether it's for economic reasons, people can't do that. Whether it's for their own personal interest, they've just like seen that dream and they're like, I don't know if I want to follow that anymore. I'm not disparaging it either. I'm just saying that it's become less typical because of the way the world is right now. It's incredibly difficult to get a job. There's slashing of different vocations and everything because of AI and all of this kind of crazy stuff. It's a wild world right now. So I think more than ever, being your own person, finding your own niche is incredibly important. And if I can be a voice of somebody who's out there doing that kind of thing and not imploding, then I've done a service for the world in whatever way I can. I mean, purpose is what drives me, and I think that that'll be another nice purpose. And I also intend to be like traveling a fair bit in the next little while, so my adventures should take me a few different interesting places. And I'm going to go back to basics. Over the course of my, let's call it YouTube career, I wanted to aspire to more, you know, documentaries, fancier editing, all these kind of things. And I'm not done with that. I would like to do it, but I think what I miss most actually about YouTube at this point is the personal connection that it provides me with people. I really like that, interacting, sharing stories around the world, what people's lives are like. Even if I'm not in Japan now, I like being able to lend an ear to people who are interested to live there. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on why I would do this. And then another huge one, obviously, is that I didn't just disappear because I didn't want to make videos or something like that. It was because I've been working on a project here, which I spoke about just before leaving Japan, that so occupied my attention that splitting it between other creative things in my life felt like a dereliction of duty. I needed to focus on that project, but I do feel now, not that it requires less focus, but it is in a position where I can do this and feel like as I sit on the couch and I speak to you that I've not foregoed the priority. And also in my life, I'm always rushing to tell people exactly what it is and what I've been working on and why it's cool. But in this instance, I'm going to hold off and say what I presented now, it's going to be a year ago as of April. It is not the same thing. It's very much that we started with that skeleton, but in the course of the year, you know, several thousands of hours of labor, a couple of people coming in on the project, that it's totally different now. And I'm going to release this complete. There'll be no Cyberpunk 2077, no questionable results on console, and it's good on PC. I'm joking. I just mean in the sense that it's going to be done. Obviously, you see games and websites and everything, they receive updates afterwards, but none of this, let's put it this way, I'm not going to do early access with the project I'm working on. When it's done, and we'll continue to work on it, but we should be able to put that stamp on it. So once it comes out, then I will not be vague whatsoever, other than to say at this point, I'll say now that it could be as big as Disney. I think it has that potential. I think you should believe in what you're creating while also having a healthy sense of, not necessarily would you call it self-doubt, but just a devil may cry. If this fails, that's what startups do, but this is massive, massive potential. And I won't, though, wax poetic about why exactly that is until it is, as I say, officially released. And then I'm going to make all kinds of videos talking about why I love it, why I'm passionate, why I think it's going to transform so many creative niches for people, and why I'm really proud of it. We accomplished this with 4 people, one of which came on for about a month, and then another of which has come on in another month. So really, it's 2 guys, and then we brought in these professional designers to help up that game. I'm the designer on it, but I went to a boot camp a year ago and have like my own personal sense of aesthetic, but I'm not a professional. These are very different things. So those guys were super helpful. And that, I'm going to say, will be complete within a month. That's probably giving it more time, in fact, than it should have, but also getting a little more used to the way that these projects shake out over time. It's always more than you think, and I've even done that now, where it was going to be a month away, or no, a couple weeks away, and then I was like, you're insane. There's no chance of this happening whatsoever. So I'm now extending it beyond when I think that it should actually complete, and that'll probably be more accurate. So within a month, and that's all I'll say for that project for now, because it's I'll give little updates in future videos as I go, but I'm not going to discuss the nuts and bolt details. What does the business do? What is it up to? I'll say in closing, as regards to the business, me touching on that now, is that, like that analogy, and I hope somebody will tell me in the comments what it is, it's that ship that it's like a ship in a bottle, and they're replacing each piece of this ship as they go. And over time, you would still call it the same ship, but every single piece within it has been replaced. So is it really the same ship? And that is absolutely the situation we're in. That, I guess that's the one final thing I can offer, is that what it initially concepted, started with, and we did our quote-unquote soft launch for, is stripped away entirely. It's not actually what it does now, and I think for the better. It was a great example of not knowing... What is it I saw some guy, I can't remember, you know, I get these reels because I do businessy stuff and I talk about it with friends, so of course my reels are all saying this. And some guy said, what is it, that action creates information? And that's a great little quote, little, you know, platitude. But it's true that as you progress on things, what your next step should be will be revealed by taking action, and you couldn't have known those. And at first you would say that these things are completely separate from each other, but it's by doing this that is revealed. And that has been the whole process here. I feel like it's been somewhat of a spiritual journey. If I can ever end up in a conversation beyond the ones that we have here on YouTube, there's so much I would like to share. Maybe most of all that I'm like, I think people have misunderstood the entrepreneurial spirit, so much so in the way that you see all these gurus describing how to achieve it. Like, who is the entrepreneur? And you always watch them, and generally within 20 seconds, you're like, they're saying nothing. It doesn't mean anything. It's this vague concept. And there's a reason for that, I can now determine, is that it's because they don't know. Maybe that was evident to people before, but also that because, in my experience, and I bet in a lot of people's now that I've had this, what you are creating will be so unique to you and your interest that there is no pre-discovered entrepreneurial path that you can follow, other than someone simply saying to you, what do you like? If you want that to be a business, then work on it. And then it's just going to be so different. There is too much variety to try and sell to people this idea of a rise and grind system that will always yield something, because I think for people to be happy in the jobs that they're doing, whether it's a job, or I say job, I mean like I'm doing a job, just the work that you do, that you need to have something that is deeply, deeply, deeply personal about that thing. And otherwise you just won't have the interest, like, you know, especially when you think, I mean, I've worked on this for a year. You think about people working on these things for several years, and you gotta love something. I mean, maybe you love the money, and that has brought people through, but I think it is so laden with failure going that route, because it's putting, what is the expression? It's putting the cart before the horse, that if you're prioritizing that, of course, you'll get nothing from it, because that's not what sells. What sells is almost, it's incidental. It's that you make something really sweet, and incidentally, that will sell, rather than, oh, I came up with an idea that makes great money. That gets snagged because I don't think it has a correct connection to the end user. It's got to be this deeply, as I say, personal thing. So that was really cool to learn. And it's great too, because it also makes you, it's comforting. You're like, there's no path. There's no way that I'm supposed to be doing this. None of these fucking idiots have a clue what they're talking about. And all these courses that they sell you, it's just self-aggrandizement for some. Because they can't make a real business, they sell you a course on how to create a business, and nothing could be lower. There's room for everybody, but I humbly, that's an opinion I have. My personal opinion. You do whatever the hell you want. What else is going on? Thailand is cool. Thailand is an interesting place to live, and I'm really loving the edge of here as compared to Japan. You know, it's resulted in some. I got shaved a few times. You know, incidents where you're like, that cost me a little bit of money unnecessarily. But then the converse, in opposition to that, is that you get these incredible, like amazing out on the fringe experience where you're like, I couldn't get this in like a country that was a little more ordered. You know, that feeling of the Wild West is really cool here. Smashing directly into a hyper speed of development as well. So it's a real, you're getting to see, it's almost like, maybe I said this in my video 8 months ago, who cares, but it's like, I feel like that I have been here, it's like the Thais are more capitalist than Western society. They're so in pursuit of this and developing it, and these mega structures, and everything's huge. It's I feel like the buildings speak to a mentality. You know, there's like this desire for growth, for massive success, and you know, great industry, all of these things. That's very surface level, and I wanted to make this video to be like, hey, I make videos again. So it's with nothing in particular other than to say, hello, I hope you've been doing well. And I'm going to make a bit more, I'm going to make many more of these, and I will now, since there is space for my thoughts outside of the work that I do, I'll share you all my thoughts on this, and I'm going to be doing some like interesting stuff in the next several months. So it's like I've got the launch, the true launch of what we've built in the last year. I'm not even saying its name. And then here's the thing, here's the story. So is that I initially came to Thailand with this really cool 6-month startup visa. Allowed me to be in the country. I submitted work proposal, not proposal, business plan, and all this kind of cool stuff. And so that was great. And then midway through, I confirmed that I would be able to get that extension, because that's how it was set up when we arrived. You get the 6 months, and then you could keep doing 6 months until you hit 2 years. I was like, okay. I followed up once, and they said it was fine. And then a month out from needing to renew, I followed up again. And they said, oh, no, we changed the policy. You can't renew that for 6 months anymore. You're only allowed to renew it for a year. And if you're going to renew for a year, then you need to have had $50,000 in a bank account for 3 months. I didn't have that. So I was like, guys, I confirmed a month ago, and you said it was fine. Now you suddenly switch, and you say the only means by which I can stay is if I have this 50K, and I don't, so what can I do? And that led to me like going in and out of the country. I'm realizing now I'm going to put a pin in it, because this is it's such a brutal story of fault on my part, because I wasn't very educated about some of the finer details with travel as it relates to your passport and its period of validity. I can tell already a few people are going to be like, you need this and you screwed that up, I bet. But that's fine. Okay, so here we are. A good classic Dave ramble. We went everywhere. I forgot what I was talking about halfway through. Perfect. It was a lot of fun, and I'm excited to do this again. Also to have a mic that I don't need to worry about how far I stand away. And I mean, I would make a video on this technology. I'm enough of a nerd that these mics you can get. I used to use a Rode Link. It's like cheaper than a Rode Link. It's the Rode Link transmitter was like 9 times the size of this thing here. And now they're just incredible. But that is a talk for another time. There's so much to discuss. I visited my dad during December in Chiang Mai, and it was funny. For one day I was sick there, and so I couldn't go out with him. And when he was out, and he was with my girl at the time, and they both said, they were like, oh, it's so quiet now because I'm gone. But that's good. That's why I was gone for 8 months. I figured you needed a little peace and quiet, you know, but now I'm back and I won't shut up, I promise. All right, that's it for this video. I appreciate you tuning in, and don't do any of those things that everybody tells you to do at the end of the video. All right, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.